Hello my friends and welcome back to the channel. If we haven't met yet, my name is Mark Spuntav and on this channel we talk about powerful ideas that can make our lives better. Today on the show I want to talk to you about how to build an audience online, specifically using a little known platform called Twitter. Now, I used to think that Twitter was this small, outdated platform that nobody uses and that had really no point. You know, when I was just starting out on the content creation journey, I heard about all the big platforms, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and I thought, okay, that's where I have to be if I want to start creating content. But as I discovered recently, Twitter is highly underappreciated in the content creating game, and that the creators who actually know what's up and the creators who actually have a lot of followers actually have a large following on Twitter as well. Now, of course, this doesn't apply to everyone, but I believe that if you are just starting out on your content creation journey, Twitter is one of the most powerful tools that you can utilize to grow your audience in the beginning. So this video is going to be part one of a two-part video series where I talk about Twitter, and part two is going to be posted tomorrow on this channel. If you're not subscribed yet, I highly recommend you do so right now by clicking the red button below and dinging that notification bell so that you don't miss out on the video tomorrow. In addition, I'm currently on a 12-week content creation challenge where I try and create 5 pieces of content per day, 5 days per week. Now, if this is something that's interesting to you and you want to follow along, you can also find me on Instagram at Mark Spuntav and on Twitter at Mark Spuntav. So with that in mind, let's jump into today's video about why I think Twitter should be something that every content creator uses to build their audience and to expand their reach. Let's get into it. So why is Twitter such a powerful platform for specifically new content creators? Well, let me tell you this. Today in the morning, I woke up and I checked my phone. I saw 90 plus notifications on my phone from Twitter. So I thought, interesting. I wonder what happened. I went to the phone, I went to check it out, and I saw that one of my content creation idols, Ali Abdal, who has a YouTube channel here on YouTube as well, ended up sharing and retweeting one of my tweets that I posted yesterday. Now, from that tweet alone, over the duration of several hours, I got probably about 130 new followers. That's huge. And it was at that point that I thought, wow, you know what? Twitter really has something going on, especially for building an audience from scratch. And in today's video essay, I really want to explain to you why I think Twitter is so beneficial for content creators, especially when we're just getting started. Most people don't talk about Twitter as being a good first platform to be on, but I think that that is just wrong. So here are my list of reasons for why I think Twitter is a fantastic platform if you're just starting out or if you already have an existing audience, and why it is an amazing platform for content creators to practice their craft. So let's begin with reason number one. So the first reason why I think Twitter is an amazing tool, especially for new content creators, is about how low the cost of entry is. You see, when you look at all of these other platforms like YouTube or Instagram or even blogging, there is a high cost of entry when it comes to producing content. For YouTube, you need lights, you need camera, you need microphone. And for Instagram, you need time to do photo shoots. You need, again, a camera or a high quality phone. Then you need time to edit. But for a tweet, all you need is about 5 minutes and you're able to send your ideas into the world. I think that's incredibly powerful. And I think that the beauty of it is that it removes excuses. You see, when I was about to start YouTube creation or blogging, I felt a lot of pressure because there was so much that I needed to think about, so much that I needed to do, so much time that I needed to invest. But a tweet takes away all of those excuses. You have an idea, you have your computer, you log in, you post your tweet, and that's it. It's done. That's the time investment. Now, of course, there are certain methods and certain strategies for growth that you should be applying if you are on Twitter to maximize your time on the platform. But I think that just that beginning low barrier of entry of just being able to have a computer and your thoughts and then to post them online, I think that's incredibly powerful, especially for people who have not yet committed to creating content as a way of living. So this is a good way to dip your toes into the content creation process and see whether you like it and sort of start discovering your own preferences around it. So reason number two why I think Twitter is an amazing tool for especially new content creators who are trying to build their audience is that it's sort of like playing the lottery. You see, I believe that with every piece of content that you publish online, you increase your chances of getting discovered. And Twitter allows you, because of the low cost of barrier that we just talked about before, it allows you to create many more pieces of content per day. So you can become prolific in your content creation, and you can really maximize your chances and opportunities of getting your content discovered. With YouTube videos, it's very difficult to create high quality videos more than once per day, if that. With Instagram posts, it takes a lot of time to edit and think about the captions and create content for that. Blogging and writing is the same thing. But once again, a tweet takes about 5 to 10 minutes. And that is incredible considering how much time you have in a day to be able to do this. So if you really would like to increase your chances of getting discovered, Twitter is amazing because you're able to put out as much content as possible out there while still not taking too much time to create that content. So I think it's incredible. It's exactly like buying more tickets for the lottery to improve your chances of winning. The only difference is that the odds for winning at Twitter are way better than the odds of winning the lottery. Moving on to reason number 3 why I believe Twitter is a powerhouse for content creators, and that is that Twitter is designed by its nature for sharing. Now, if you really think about that, other content platforms are just not designed to share content across. If you think about it for Instagram, for example, it doesn't matter how good looking you are and how beautiful your photo is. People are probably not going to want to share your photo on their profile because it's your photo. Same thing with YouTube, really, because with YouTube, even though your video might be the best quality, it doesn't have built into the platform a sharing capability. So if you'd like to share a YouTube video, you would have to email it or share it on Facebook or somewhere else. There's nothing in the platform itself that encourages people to share your content. But Twitter is different. Twitter was built from the ground up and designed to create communication, to create conversation, and to encourage people to share content. And that's what's so amazing. You can take an idea, put it on Twitter, and it kind of takes away all of the process of having to share it outside. Someone might come across your idea who has many more followers than you and will share your idea to those followers. In fact, if your ideas are good enough on Twitter, they will get retweeted and shared. And that is an amazing way to spread your message across because you are using the resources that other people have, the audiences that other people have to spread your message. No other platform has this power, has this capability. And so when you're just starting out from scratch, I think that's an incredibly powerful tool to have at your disposal. Because when you are starting out from scratch, if you just keep creating content, they say content is king, but distribution is queen. If you are just creating content, you are not going to grow unless you get that content in front of eyeballs. That should be your whole job in the beginning. When you create content, it's got to be 50% creation, 50% promotion, and making sure that people actually see your content. Otherwise, you are going to be creating content into the void, and eventually that is going to become so discouraging that you are just going to give up. I think that Twitter is an amazing tool, especially in the beginning, because sharing is just so easy that if you create good content, people will end up sharing it. And so that is my reason for liking Twitter so much. On to reason number 4 why I think Twitter is incredible for content creators of all kinds, and that is that Twitter values the content, not the container. You see, it's very difficult to watch a YouTube video if the presenter is speaking too slowly, too quietly, if the camera is shaky, if there's no lighting, if the microphone is scratchy. It's just unenjoyable. The content might be fantastic inside, the ideas might be revolutionary, but it's very difficult because the visual aspect of it is just not as enjoyable, and it requires much more work to capture someone's attention. But in a tweet, all you have is the text on the screen. You are reducing everything into the content itself. You're not worrying about the container. You're not worrying about the packaging or the aesthetic. All you're thinking about is the idea. You're trying to frame it as well as possible and present it out to the world. And so your ideas get judged on the merit of their actual value, not on their aesthetic. Now, this is not 100% true because there is some copywriting and sort of design that goes into creating a powerful, good quality tweet, which I'll be talking about tomorrow in part 2 of this video. But overall, I think that Twitter is definitely the closest to making sure that we are able to judge ideas for the ideas themselves. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what you sound like. You could be sitting at home in your underwear and just typing away, but the power of your ideas will be transferred over to other people. And I think that's another reason why Twitter is just so powerful, because it focuses on your content, not so much just your delivery. Reason number 5 why I love Twitter is because it allows you to connect with powerful and incredible people. I mean, I didn't realize this before, but it seems like pretty much all successful people who are at the top of their fields, at least most of them, are on Twitter. And the best part is that these accounts on Twitter are usually not managed by their team or by someone they outsource to. They are actually the personal Twitter accounts of these people. So musicians, artists, authors, entrepreneurs, YouTubers, you name them, they are on Twitter and they are sharing their ideas, they are sharing their experience. And the best part of it all is that they are actually reading the replies. It's very difficult to reach out to, let's say, Elon Musk by email, because he probably will not respond if you just send him a random cold email. But if you reply to one of his tweets on Twitter, it's very likely that he will respond back to you. And I thought that that was mind-blowing. I was able to interact with some of my biggest content creation idols and with some of the authors that I really love. And they were all available for me to create a relationship and communicate with them over Twitter. When I tried to respond to them or to communicate with them through other platforms such as Instagram, YouTube, or even LinkedIn, I just found they were not as responsive, which is normal because on those platforms, the communication aspect is not so heavily focused upon. But on Twitter, Twitter is all about creating conversation. It's all about sharing ideas. It's all about talking. It's all about really communicating with the other person. And I think that's an amazing aspect of Twitter. So if for no other reason, Twitter is an amazing networking tool. All you need to do is create a Twitter account and start interacting with the people who you admire, the people who you respect, the people at the top of your industry, and you'll be surprised at the connections that you're able to make using that approach. So that's the, 5th reason why I think Twitter is amazing. Getting close to the end, we are on reason number 6. I believe Twitter is incredible because Twitter makes you a better thinker and a better writer. You see, I really like this idea that to think better, we have to write, and that writing clarifies our thinking and forces us to really understand and better clarify our ideas. And Twitter is this amazing tool because you're able to publish your writing for other people, which puts more pressure on you to present your ideas in beautiful formats and very clear formats so that others will understand them. Not only that though, you have only 280 characters to convey your ideas. So what does that mean? That means you have to take only the core message, only the core ideas of your message and communication, and you can only use that in your tweets. So that means that you really have to think about what is critical, what is the core of your message, what do you have to share? And it really forces you to sharpen your thinking and to sharpen your communication style. It makes you able to really think through, what am I trying to communicate? What am I trying to say? And then you're able to say it in a much more succinct and sharp way. So I think Twitter is amazing because you get to practice writing in public. And writing in public is one of the best ways to really understand what are your ideas and to get a better understanding of your own information that you want to share. You know, they say that writing is not just about sharing. Writing is often a process of discovery to better understand what our own ideas are. And I think that is another reason why publishing on Twitter can make you a powerhouse content creator. And so the final reason why I think Twitter is awesome, reason number 7, is that it gives you fast feedback. This is incredible. Any content creator should be dying to get feedback on their content. You see, before you go out and you spend hours creating a YouTube video or spend hours writing a blog post, what you can do is you can go on Twitter. You can decide what you want to share. You share that idea into the world, and then you sit back and watch. Over the next few hours, you will get feedback, direct feedback from your audience about what they think of your idea. If all you hear are crickets, then you know that you need to go back into the lab and rework that idea. You need to adjust, you need to modify it, and then you'll present it again. But if you see that the idea hit, if it resonated with your target audience, well, in that case, you can go full out. You can then create a course around that idea, a YouTube video around that idea, an article around that idea. Twitter is the best way to market test your ideas before committing more intensive resources and more time and more attention to something that is unproven yet. So Twitter is incredible for testing out your ideas and proving their validity before scaling up the production around them. And with that, we are finished with my top 7 reasons why I think Twitter is incredible and why I think that you should be on Twitter. So tell me, did I manage to convince you that Twitter is something you should consider for your content creation? Let me know in the comments below if you are currently on Twitter, if you are planning to be on Twitter, and even let me know if you made it this far in the video. Also, if you have any feedback, any ideas, please share with me down in the video. Anything I could improve? Am I speaking too quickly, too slowly? Is my lighting okay? Is my microphone okay? Am I too echoey? I would love to hear from you. I'd love to know what you think so that I can make these videos better for you. As I said before, this is part 1 of a 2-part video series about Twitter. So this was the part 1 of sort of understanding why Twitter is such an important platform and why you should even be considering it as a platform for your content. And tomorrow I'm going to be walking you through the biggest ideas I took away from the people who I follow and the courses that I took about how to actually grow on Twitter and how to create synchronicity. So even though today's growth on Twitter seemed to be luck, I had this creator who had a big audience share my content with their audience. There were a lot of things that I did prior that ensured that once that, they say that luck is opportunity meets preparedness. Well, let me tell you, the opportunity came today and I was ready. I was prepared. I did a lot of things before what happened today, before the tweet got shared, that ensured that once people actually came to my profile, that they would subscribe and they would follow me on Twitter. So I'm by no means a Twitter expert, but I have spent a lot of time learning and researching and studying what works well, and I would love to share that with you. So make sure you join me tomorrow for tomorrow's part 2 video of how to grow on Twitter. Make sure, I would highly recommend you ding the notification bell so that you get notified when the video comes out, as well as, if you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel. If you want to see a little bit behind the scenes of how everything gets made and of my thought process, you're welcome to follow me on Instagram at Mark Spuntov or on Twitter at Mark Spuntov. And I highly recommend you check out my channel for some more videos. Yesterday, I talked about the idea of how you can finally find your niche, and you can check that out right here. In the meanwhile, again, thank you all so much for watching. I highly appreciate everything that you are doing for this channel and for all the support that you're giving me. I would love to see you here tomorrow. So until then, stay safe, stay well, and I will see you all here tomorrow.